There are moments in life when people hurt you, lie about you, and walk away like nothing ever happened. They think they've won. They think no one saw the tears you cried in the dark, the nights you couldn't sleep, the pain you kept hidden behind your smile. But they're wrong, because Allah saw it all. He saw the betrayal they hid, the effort you gave, and the patience you showed when no one else was watching. So, if you've ever been wronged, misunderstood, or left behind, wondering if justice will ever come, listen closely. Because this reminder isn't about revenge, it's about reassurance. The world might forget what they did, but Allah never does. His eyes never close, His justice never sleeps. And one day you'll see exactly why He let it happen. Because even when everyone else was blind to your pain, Allah was watching. Allah records what the world ignores. The world often forgets what you've been through, but Allah never forgets. Every small moment of your struggle is written down. Every tear that rolled down your face, every breath you took while trying not to break, every time you stayed quiet when you could have spoken in anger, Allah saw it and He recorded it with love and justice. Sometimes you think no one understands how much you've endured. People move on, life goes on, and it feels like your pain disappeared into silence. But Allah never lets anything go unseen. Even the moments when you smiled to hide your sadness, they were all witnessed by Him. He knows what you wanted to say but couldn't. He knows what you gave but never got back. And He knows the nights you prayed just to make it through the day. And remember, when Allah records something, it's not to expose you on the day of judgment, it's to honor you. He will show how you stayed patient, how you held faith when everything was dark. Nothing you suffered for His sake is ever wasted. Every second of quiet endurance is being stored as reward, waiting for you in a place where there is no more pain. So don't ever think your story went unnoticed. The world may forget, but your Lord wrote every part of it perfectly, mercifully, and forever. Your silence was witnessed by the heavens. When you stayed silent, even though your heart was burning inside, Allah saw that. You could have answered back, you could have argued, you could have exposed what they did, but instead you chose peace. You walked away, not because you were weak, but because you were strong enough to leave it to Allah. And in that moment, the angels wrote your name among those who are patient. Many people think silence means losing, but in the sight of Allah, silence can be one of the highest forms of worship. When you hold your tongue for His sake, you are showing Him that you trust His justice more than your own anger, that you believe His plan is better than your reaction. And even when your silence feels heavy, it is not empty. It is filled with unseen reward. Every second you stopped yourself from replying with hate was a dua without words. Every tear you held back was a sign of faith. And every time you said nothing but turned your pain into prayer, the heavens noticed. Allah loves those who remain calm when they have every reason to explode, because that calmness shows true faith. So don't think your silence was ignored. It was heard. It was recorded. It was honored by the one who knows how much it cost you to stay quiet. Your silence spoke louder in the heavens than any words could have on earth. Allah tests hearts before He reveals truths. Sometimes you ask Allah for justice right away. You want the truth to come out now. You want people to see what really happened. You want the pain to stop quickly. But Allah doesn't rush. Before He reveals the truth to the world, He looks deep into your heart. He tests it, shapes it, and prepares it. Because if He gave you justice too soon, your heart might still be filled with anger or pride. And that kind of justice doesn't bring peace. It only brings noise. So, Allah waits. He watches how you react when things seem unfair. He watches if you still pray, if you still trust Him, if you still choose patience when everything inside you wants to fight back. That is the real test. It's not just about what happened to you. It's about what is happening inside you. Will you turn bitter or will you turn closer to Him? When your heart learns patience, Allah starts revealing the truth in ways you couldn't imagine. Suddenly lies begin to fall apart. False people show their real faces, and what was hidden slowly becomes clear, but only after your heart is calm enough to handle it. That's how Allah works. His timing is never late, it's wise. And when the truth finally comes out, you look back and realize that the delay wasn't a punishment, it was protection. Allah didn't forget you. He was preparing you, because justice from Allah doesn't just fix the situation, it heals the soul. The pain that broke you was protecting you. Sometimes the pain that shattered your heart was never meant to destroy you, it was meant to protect you. You didn't understand it at the time. You only felt the breaking, the disappointment, the sudden loss of someone or something you thought you needed. You cried and asked, why would Allah let this happen to me? But if you could have seen what He saw, you would have fallen in sujood out of gratitude. There were people who looked kind but had intentions that could have harmed you later. There were plans that looked beautiful but would have pulled you away from peace, from faith, from yourself. So Allah, in His mercy, broke that path before it broke you completely. He took away what you were clinging to so tightly, not to punish you but to save you. When your heart was breaking, His protection was working. You thought you were losing something precious, but you were actually being rescued. Every heartbreak, every closed door, every unexpected ending was Allah saying, I love you too much to let you stay where harm hides. You see, sometimes Allah removes people you begged to keep because He heard conversations you didn't, saw betrayals you couldn't, and knew what you were blind to. What felt like rejection was actually redirection. What felt like an ending was really a beginning. So don't curse the pain. One day you will look back at that heartbreak and whisper, Alhamdulillah, because now you'll see that what you thought was your breaking point was actually your turning point. Allah didn't break you to leave you broken. He broke you to rebuild you in a way the old you could never be. Allah defends you in ways you can see. There are times when people speak against you, twist your words, or try to harm your reputation, and you feel helpless because you can't defend yourself. You want to explain your side, you want to make everyone see the truth, but somehow every time you try, things get worse. That's when Allah steps in silently. He defends you in ways you don't even notice. Sometimes He turns people's hearts in your favor without you saying a single word. Sometimes He lets the truth come out naturally, through someone else's mouth, at a time you least expect it. And sometimes He protects your name by letting certain things stay hidden. Because not everyone deserves to know your story. That's Allah's protection. You may think you're alone in the battle, but you're not. Allah is Al-Hafiz, the one who guards, the one who shields. He sees every lie, every misunderstanding, every unfair judgment, and He takes care of them better than you ever could. While you're crying and worrying, He's already fixing what you can't control. Many times, Allah's defense doesn't come through loud actions, it comes through peace. Suddenly, the gossip stops. The person who tried to harm you becomes distant. The plan made against you falls apart. And you realize, without saying a word, Allah already fought for you. You don't need to prove yourself to everyone. You don't need to defend your purity to those who are blind to it. Allah knows the truth, and that's enough. When He is your defender, even your silence becomes powerful, because the one protected by Allah cannot be destroyed by people. What you lost in pain, Allah will return in peace. What you lost through pain will never be lost in the eyes of Allah. He saw every tear, every sleepless night, every time your heart whispered, why me? You may have lost people, opportunities, dreams, or parts of yourself, but Allah promises that nothing you lose for His sake is ever gone. He will return it, not always in the same form, but always in a better one. Sometimes Allah takes something away because He wants to give you peace in exchange. The relationship you cried over, the job that slipped away, the chance that disappeared, they were not meant to destroy you, they were meant to free you. You might not see it yet, but Allah removes what disturbs your heart to make space for what calms it. You think you lost something important, but Allah is teaching you that peace is greater than possession. He will replace the chaos you once carried with calmness. He will fill the silence that hurt you with serenity. He will send contentment into your life so pure that you'll forget the pain that led you there. Every tear you shed watered the garden of peace that's waiting for you. Every time you said Alhamdulillah through pain, you built a blessing in the unseen. Allah does not waste the suffering of His servants. He turns pain into purification, heartbreak into healing, and loss into light. One day you will wake up and realize you no longer feel that same heaviness. The wound that once defined you will have become your wisdom. You will breathe deeply and feel peace where pain used to live. And in that moment you'll know Allah returned everything you lost, but this time He gave it back as peace. Allah exposes what was hidden. There are times when you feel confused because the people you trusted start acting different. You sense something is wrong, but you don't have proof. You hear one thing, but you feel another. That's when Allah begins to uncover what was hidden. Slowly, one truth after another appears. It doesn't happen all at once because Allah reveals in perfect timing, not to destroy but to teach and protect. When people show their true colors, it's not always betrayal. Sometimes it's mercy. Allah lets masks fall, not to embarrass anyone, but to free you from the illusion that everyone who smiles has a good heart. He shows you what was behind the curtain, so you don't keep trusting what was meant to harm you. It hurts at first, but later you realize it was never loss, it was clarity. You see, Allah knows what conversations happened behind your back. He hears what was said in rooms you were never invited to. And when the time is right, He allows the truth to reach you in the simplest, most undeniable way. The same people who tried to hide it will end up exposing themselves without realizing it. That's Allah's way, quiet, powerful, undeniable. So when something hidden finally comes to light, don't be shocked. Be thankful, because that truth, even if painful, is protection. It saves you from bigger heartbreak later. It teaches you to see beyond appearances. And once Allah shows you someone's true face, believe it, that was His mercy showing you what your eyes couldn't see before. What He exposes out of love. What He reveals to guide. So don't fear the truth, fear living without it. And remember, when Allah shows you what was hidden, it's not to hurt you, it's to lead you toward peace that only truth can bring. Allah's delay is your elevation. When you ask Allah for something and it doesn't come, your heart starts to ache. You make dulia again and again, but nothing changes. You start to wonder, did Allah hear me? Did I do something wrong? But what you don't see is that every delay is carefully written for your growth. Allah never says no. He says not yet because I'm preparing something greater. When you don't get what you want right away, Allah is strengthening your heart. He is teaching you patience, trust, and faith. Lessons that you can't learn in ease. Each day that passes without your prayer being answered is not silence, it's preparation. He's shaping you into the person who will be ready to handle the blessing when it finally comes. Sometimes Allah delays a person because your heart still holds pain that would ruin the relationship. Sometimes He delays success because your humility needs to grow before your status rises. Sometimes He delays a dream because the timing around you isn't safe yet. So when you don't see results, it doesn't mean Allah has forgotten you. It means He's arranging every piece with precision. Think of a seed in the soil. It stays hidden for a long time, surrounded by darkness. But in that hidden time, it's developing roots that will later hold the entire tree. That's you right now. Allah's delay is your rooting season. He's grounding you in patience so that when your blessing arrives, you'll have the strength to hold it. And when the time comes, His plan will unfold so beautifully that you'll say, now I understand why it took so long. Because when Allah delays, He doesn't deny. He builds, He prepares, He elevates, and when He finally gives, it will come in such a way that you'll forget how long you waited. You'll only feel grateful for how perfectly it arrived. Your story will heal someone else. Every pain you went through, every hardship that almost broke you, carries a hidden purpose far greater than the suffering itself. What you lived through was not only about you, it was meant to help someone else one day. The lessons you gained in silence, the strength you built through tears, the patience you learned when life gave you no choice, all of it was preparing you to guide others who will walk a similar path. You see, when Allah allows pain, He also plants wisdom inside it. He turns wounds into words that can touch hearts. Maybe you don't realize it now, but your story, your struggle, your survival, it will heal someone who feels like giving up. One day, someone will listen to your journey and whisper, if they made it through that, maybe I can too. That's how Allah spreads hope through the people He once tested. Even the things you thought were wasted are being used by Allah to shape you into a source of light for others. Your heartbreak will teach compassion. Your loneliness will make you gentle. Your patience will become advice that comforts souls. What once hurt you deeply will someday flow from your lips as wisdom that touches another heart. So don't be ashamed of what you went through. Don't hide your scars. They are proof of your survival and signs of Allah's mercy. When you tell your story, you're not showing weakness, you're showing faith, because you're proving that even in pain, Allah's plan was working. The same way someone else's words once gave you hope, your words will now give hope to others. That is how Allah uses pain, not to destroy you, but to make you a healer. One day you will realize your story was never just yours. It was a message from Allah written through your tears, meant to reach hearts that haven't healed yet. Allah will honor you in front of those who broke you. There will come a day when Allah will raise you in front of the very people who once broke you. Those who mocked you, ignored you, and tried to make you feel small will stand in silence watching how Allah has honored you. They thought they had taken something from you, your peace, your confidence, your worth. But what they didn't know was that Allah was using their cruelty to write your story of elevation. When you cried in secret, Allah was listening. When they tried to humiliate you, Allah was planning your rise. Nothing they did went unnoticed. And when Allah decides to honor someone, He doesn't need a stage or a crowd. He simply opens doors that no human can close. Suddenly, the same people who doubted you will see you standing where they never imagined you could be, protected, peaceful, and blessed. But here's the beauty. When that day comes, your heart won't want revenge. You won't feel hatred or pride. You'll just feel gratitude. Because by then, you'll have learned that Allah's way of restoring dignity is gentle. He doesn't just prove your innocence, He proves your value. He doesn't lift you with arrogance, He lifts you with peace. Sometimes Allah lets people underestimate you so that when He raises you, it's clear that only He could have done it. It won't be your effort, your words, or your defense. It will be His mercy that speaks louder than anything else. The same people who once hurt you may not apologize, but they'll witness the change Allah brought into your life. And deep inside, they'll know the truth. He was with you all along. And you, the one who stayed patient, who cried instead of cursing, who prayed instead of plotting, you'll finally see why Allah asked you to wait. Because His justice doesn't just restore, it transforms. He won't just bring you out of pain, He'll raise you above it. So don't worry about how they see you now. Just focus on how Allah will present you later. When He decides to honor you, it won't be subtle. It will be clear, undeniable, and full of peace. The same heart that once felt crushed will one day overflow with gratitude, whispering, Alhamdulillah, Allah saw everything they did, and He was always enough. True justice begins when you let go. True justice doesn't begin when you fight back. It begins when you let go. When you stop chasing explanations, when you stop trying to make people understand what they did, and when you finally hand the entire situation over to Allah, that's when real peace starts to flow into your heart. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you trust that Allah can handle what you can't. There comes a time when you've cried enough, explained enough, and hurt enough. That's when you realize your peace is more important than being proven right. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop replaying conversations in your mind, and you simply say, Ya Allah, you saw everything, you know the truth. I leave it to you. Those few words change everything, because once you release the burden, Allah takes it from you completely. While you were trying to fix it on your own, your heart stayed heavy. But when you let go and leave it in His hands, Allah begins to work quietly behind the scenes. He brings truth to light without you saying a word. He brings calm to your soul without you needing closure. He restores what you lost in ways you could never plan. Letting go doesn't mean you forget what happened. It means you choose not to let it poison your heart. It means you trust that Allah's justice is far greater than human revenge. Because when He settles a matter, He does it perfectly. He gives you peace in place of anger, understanding in place of confusion, and strength in place of sadness. And one day, you look back and realize how freeing it was to let Allah handle what once consumed you. You'll feel a peace that no apology could ever bring. That's when you'll understand. Justice didn't come the moment they got exposed or punished. It came the moment you said, I forgive and I leave it to Allah. That's when the case was closed in the heavens and your heart finally became light again. Allah's justice is silent but perfect. Allah's justice doesn't always come with noise, warnings, or dramatic moments. It comes in silence. You may not see lightning strike or hear thunder roar, but the justice of Allah moves quietly, perfectly, and precisely. While you are still hurting, still wondering if anyone will ever see what was done to you, Allah is already setting things in motion in ways you can't imagine. Sometimes His justice looks like peace entering your heart when you least expect it. You wake up one morning and the pain that once consumed you doesn't feel as heavy anymore. You're no longer angry. You no longer need answers. That's Allah's way of showing you that He has already handled what you couldn't. Other times, His justice shows through the changes in people's lives. The ones who hurt you might seem fine at first, but slowly their actions catch up with them. their own choices become their test. Allah doesn't need to humiliate them. He lets the truth unfold naturally. At the exact time it will teach them most. His justice is never rushed, because it's not about revenge, it's about correction. And while Allah deals with them, He deals with you gently. He heals you first. He gives you strength to forgive, calmness to move on, and a heart that no longer carries hate. That's also justice, the kind that gives peace instead of pain. Because Allah doesn't only punish wrongdoers, He restores the hearts of those who are wronged. You may not witness the full circle of His justice immediately, but you will feel it. One day, everything that confused you will make sense. The silence that once felt unbearable will turn into comfort. The patience that once hurt will turn into wisdom. And you'll realize Allah was never ignoring you. He was working in the unseen, arranging every piece until justice could unfold perfectly. So trust His silence. It's not absence, it's divine precision. When Allah decides the time is right, every wrong will be made right, every lie will collapse, and every wound will find peace. You won't need to lift a hand or say a word, because His justice doesn't need witnesses, only faith. And when it arrives, you'll know it was never delayed. It was simply being perfected. You may have felt invisible, unheard, and forgotten by the people around you, but the truth is, you were never unseen. Every moment you felt alone, Allah was right there. Every tear you cried in silence was witnessed by Him. Every time you broke down and couldn't find the words to explain your pain, He already understood it. The world may have overlooked your struggle, but your Creator never did. There were times when you thought nobody cared, when you had to act strong just to make it through the day. You hid your sadness behind a smile, and people believed you were fine. But Allah saw what they didn't. He saw the effort it took to stay patient. He saw how you still prayed even when your heart was heavy. He saw you trying to forgive when your chest was full of pain. None of it went unnoticed. Sometimes Allah allows you to go through loneliness so that you realize He's the only one who truly sees you. He's the only one who listens when everyone else is silent. When you whisper, Ya Allah, with a trembling voice, the heavens respond. You're never ignored. Every word, every sigh, every tear reaches Him. And one day you'll understand that every unseen moment was part of your growth. The times you were ignored built your connection with Allah. The times you were hurt strengthened your faith. The times you felt unseen brought you closer to the one who never stops watching over you. So don't ever think your pain was wasted or hidden. You were seen, you were heard, you were loved by the one who never forgets, never sleeps, and never abandons His servant. You were never unseen, not for a single heartbeat.